Hey gang, my name is Bryan Mitchell from FXBilliards. Today I'm going to tell you 5 things that you may be doing wrong as a new player. And the reason I qualify it with I teach pool for a living is that you probably have someone in your life, a teammate, a friend, even a good player at your local pool hall who is telling you something different than what I'm going to tell you today. That's okay. A lot of people go a long way doing things incorrectly, and there's a ton of what we call unconscious competence. And that is the guy that plays very well, but cannot explain to you what he is doing. So I'm going to show you a few things today that might contradict what you've been told in the past. You can ignore everything that I tell you because we do need people to rack. But in the meantime, those of you that want to get better, I'm going to teach you those things. Let's get started with the stop shot. If you play pool and you do not have a stop shot, you are not a pool player. What is a stop shot? I play the 6 ball in the corner pocket. I want my cue ball to stop right there on the spot. This is a shot that many amateur players play incorrectly. Why? Because books going back as far as 50 years have told people to hit this ball in the center, dead center, and slide it across to stop at that spot. Or they have been told to hit it slightly below center and slide it across to stop in that shot. Well, the reason this is incorrect, and yes, there are things in books that are incorrect. I know people that wrote entire books just to mess with you, full of misinformation. So the reason this is incorrect is because it only works on a stop shot that is about 12 inches away from you. If you have a stop shot that is, on this case, 5 feet away, we're directly straight with this 7 ball. We get down on it. If we shot this slightly below center, that cue ball would still be rolling right now. You have to play this shot at the same contact point you would with a draw shot. We're going to look at the draw shot a little bit later, but in the meantime, we are hitting this ball at practically the very bottom. So why is slightly below center incorrect? Because we can make it stop cold, slightly below center from this distance, but not from this distance, as we talked about before. Sliding this ball by hitting it slightly below center, this length is practically impossible. The way I learned to do it, and most pool players are visual people, so this may help you. The way I learned to do it was I literally visualized my cue ball spinning backwards and stopping right there as it hit the 5 ball. So the shot looks like this. What you just saw, I saw right before I shot the ball. If you can see it spinning backwards and stopping at that point, you're going to have a much better chance of making it. The other thing you want to do is you want to start with an extremely easy stop shot. That means the ball is here and you're shooting it into the corner pocket. And then you slowly work your way up to having a longer and longer shot. Slowly. Our next shot that beginners very often get wrong is a follow shot. Balls are about a diamond apart, maybe a little bit more. You get down on it. You send the cue ball down to the other rail. This is how you determine whether or not you have this shot or not. You're on a 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, I don't care what you're on. Put the balls about 1 diamond apart. I'm between the 2nd and 3rd and the 1st and 2nd. Get the balls in a relatively straight line. Now I'm giving myself a slight angle so it doesn't scratch, but if you want to shoot these so that the ball scratches, even better. Shoot a follow shot, the length of the table, and touch the rail at the other end. So the shot looks like this. If your cue ball does not make it to the other end of the table, if you slam it to get the ball down there, you don't have this shot. You're not shooting it correctly. Let's look at what you're probably doing wrong. At one point in my life, while playing at a pretty high level for an amateur player, I was asked by a Hall of Fame player to shoot a follow shot and make the cue ball stop on that rail down there. I got down on the shot and the ball stopped here. And it did not occur to me that I didn't have that shot. I had it, but not consistently. You know, like some of you have a draw shot, which we're going to talk about later, but you don't have it consistently. He fixed it in 30 seconds. Now, I know some out there, when I say I'm going to fix this in 30 seconds, they're like, oh, you can't fix it in 30 seconds. Well, that's what makes you, because some things can be fixed in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, because many of the problems that a lot of players have, the fix is very simple. If you get down on this shot and your cue ball does not go all the way down to the other end of the table, to the point that you could scratch because you hit it perfectly, this is what you're probably doing wrong. Number one, and most importantly, remember we talked about follow through? If your tip of your cue is not passing through the spot where this cue ball is at the same speed without decelerating, if your cue is not passing through this ball and exceeding the point where you're making contact, so in other words, you're not jabbing at it, then you have to fix that. Number two, if you are shooting down on this ball because you're jacked up, I see a lot of people who should know better. This guy's got his own YouTube channel teaching you how to play pool, and he's jacked up on every shot. Keep your cue level. If you're shooting down on this ball, what's going to happen is the cue ball, number one, is going to lose a lot of energy. It is also going to start to curve as it goes down table. Keep your cue level, follow through on the shot, a consistent speed, and the magic formula completed. Hit this cue ball higher than you feel comfortable. What does that mean? A lot of you have training balls and it's got a little spot on it that says follow shot on that training ball. Go higher than that. When we hit these shots, we are extremely high on the cue ball, the same way we are extremely low on our stop shots, and as you will see a little bit later, extremely low on our draw shots. The reason English, draw, follow, eludes so many players of all different levels, intermediate players as well as beginners, is that you're not hitting the ball at extremes. Go higher on this cue ball than you normally would, and you're going to get a different result. I bet you can't wait. Can't wait, right? You want to know about that draw shot. You see it coming. We already talked about it, right? You want to be 6 feet away and draw the cue ball all the way back here. Well, let's talk about what you need to do to have that shot. First thing you need to do to have that shot is to have this shot. If you can't draw the cue ball back to this rail, why are you trying to do it 6 feet away? I've seen guys in games, in the game, trying to shoot a 6-foot draw shot. They can't shoot it from 12 inches away. We have complete videos. We have a video called How to Shoot a Powerful Draw Shot. If you haven't watched it, you absolutely, positively have to watch it if you want to have a draw shot. But I'm going to show you today the things that you are probably doing wrong, and this will be your prerequisite to watching the other videos that teach you about a draw shot. We got plenty of them because people love them, so I knock them out for people. And I got a pretty decent draw shot. Why not learn your draw shot here, right? So here are the things you are probably doing wrong. First off, if you have to slam the ball to draw it back and the balls are only about 1.5 diamonds away, if you have to hit it too hard to draw it back, then you are hitting the cue ball way too high. If you think you're hitting it at the bottom and it's not coming back, you're doing a couple of things wrong. You are either, number one, not hitting it where you think you are. A lot of players think they're hitting the ball at the very bottom. They tell me, I'm hitting it at the very bottom. We take close-up video on their stroke and we find out that they are a full tip, maybe 2 tips away from hitting the very bottom of the ball, and they are hitting it so hard and so fast that they don't see it. If you are scooping the ball, you are hitting under it. If you cannot hit this low and keep your cue level and follow through, one of the things that you can do that will instantly make your draw shot better is shorten your bridge. These are all tips that you're going to find in our other videos, but shorten your bridge. Yes, we play with a longer bridge. All the pros you see have a longer bridge, right? Oh, that's where the power comes from. The power only comes from the longer bridge if you're hitting the ball in the right spot, with the right stroke, with the right speed. The right speed means you are not decelerating as you're going through the ball. You're not chopping at it. You're not stopping your cue. You are passing through that contact point with what? Follow through. You have to follow through the ball. The next thing you are probably doing incorrectly as a beginner player is the way you're aiming on shots. Now, there's a number of ways to cut a ball in. What I use and what most top players are using, don't fall into the trap of, oh, I saw a video about this and a touch of this and inside this. Most top players are using a ghost ball in order to make a shot. The ball's down table. I'm sending the cue ball to the spot that would put this ball in the pocket if they were perfectly lined up. Now, occasionally, we will throw some side spin on this shot. I am not talking about those situations. I am talking about the times when we do not throw side spin on this shot. The ball is here. I visualize where the cue ball is going to be to replace that spot with the cue ball now. That puts it in that pocket. I am not coming over here and finding a contact point on this ball and then sending the center of the cue ball with my cue to that spot. That does not make the shot. What that does is it sends the ball there. You wonder why you're missing shots? Because you come over here and you do this thing. I had a girlfriend that used to do that. And then you come back here and you aim for that spot with the tip of your cue. That's not your contact point. Your contact point is about 1.25 inches away from that spot. The center of the cue ball needs to go to this spot here that sends that ball into the pocket. That's how the ghost ball works. You can find videos that are going to show you other aiming systems. Knock yourself out. The number 2 biggest mistake that beginner players make when aiming shots is by drowning themselves in a quagmire of information by following every single last video they saw on aiming. If you want to learn to shoot with those systems, knock yourself out. But if you don't learn to shoot with a ghost ball first, you're never going to make it. You wonder why you can't make these shots. You tell me. I give lessons for a living. You tell me, Bryan, my stroke is broken. And then you get down on the table, you got a perfect stroke. Your stroke looks better than mine. But you saw a video. Do not become the product of the last thing you saw. And if it's not called ghost ball, go find another video and tell it it's called ghost ball, because that's where you should be starting. If you want to come up with another system because you saw a video, make sure you have this one down first. Because if you don't know how to hit the ghost ball spot, you don't know how to play pool yet. Before you put that car on the racetrack, make sure you can drive around the block to 7-Eleven, okay? So, what do? You're going to hit the ghost ball spot, and the ball's going to go in the pocket. It doesn't matter if the ball is rolling. It doesn't matter if it's 3 feet away, if it's 2 feet away. It's the same shot. But before you shoot it 7 feet away, while it's rolling, practice here, then here, then here. Make the shot progressively more difficult. Remember what we said about every other practice. Get a shot that you can make and then slowly make it more and more difficult as you go. Do not try to go from 0 to 60 and frustrate yourself. Everything that we covered today, we have individual videos, a ton of them, that give you more detail about these shots. So I'm going to give you some break basics in like 3 minutes, but you're going to need to watch a full video if you want to be a good breaker. Number 1, stop breaking from the rail in 8-ball and in 10-ball. This is a specialty break. If you are breaking from that rail in 8-ball or 10-ball, you should be doing something special. For example, you're trying to make the 1-ball in the side, or maybe you're shooting at a 2nd-ball break. Neither of these things should you be doing if you are a beginner player. You should be breaking from here. I probably have a 30-year head start on most of you watching this video, and I break from here. Why? Because a lot of good things happen when you break from the center. Number 1, you guys are going to scratch a lot less. Number 2, you're going to have a nice even distribution of the rack. Number 3, things become predictable. A lot of good things happen when you break from the center. Stop putting yourself over here because you saw some guy doing it. Next thing, number 1 thing I think with beginner players is don't lift your cue up in the air. Don't lift your cue up in the air when you're breaking. Keep your cue down. If the tip of your cue is not down on the table at the end of your break, you are probably doing something wrong.
Hey gang, if you enjoy FX Billiards on YouTube, you'll love FXBTV. It's the ultimate streaming platform for exclusive videos, tips, and techniques you won't find anywhere else. Join now to lock in our special introductory rate and be part of the FX Billiards community.
Watch the other videos, watch the master classes. Everything from beginner to expert is there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what you think. Have a great day.